So let me just take a few minutes and sort of tell you who I am and why I'm here. I'm Bill Maris. I'm a Vermonter at heart. I've lived in Vermont for more than 15 years. I went to Middlebury, got a degree there, and then after Middlebury, I took the obligatory cross-country drive with a couple of friends and had a short-lived experiment of being unemployed and broke in San Francisco. I then moved back to Vermont to start a company, primarily because I wanted to work for myself and be in a place that I loved around people that I knew. I wanted to do that in Vermont. That was a given. So I moved back. I marched into Gallagher Flynn's offices, met with Greg Borgia, went down to Downs Rackman and met with Chip Mason, both of whom remain friends of mine to this day, and said I wanted to start a business at 22 years old. And they did a good job of stifling their laughter, took me seriously, and helped me in a way that I don't think I could have gotten help in a larger state or not a community that isn't quite as tightly knit. And the business I'm in now, the business I was in then, is about relationships. I think you can see by the turnout here, most of you know each other. Many of you, know me, and I know you, and that's a key reason why I came to Vermont. What I did was I rented an apartment above Michael Keogh's and made that my headquarters. I bought a bunch of servers from Dell on the phone in 1997 because you couldn't buy anything online at the time. And I put what few furnishings I had and what hard work I had into that effort. I'm still not clear how many zoning regulations I was violating, but I know there were a lot. I brought some of Vermont's first T1 lines into the building, and now you can get higher speed internet sort of to your home over cable lines or to your phone in many cases. I started a web hosting and web design company. At the time, was sort of a foreign concept. I literally went door to door on Church Street talking to companies about what's a website, why do you need it. My secret agenda being you needed it because I needed to buy lunch the next day. But I thought it would be important. It seemed like an important trend. And so it's kind of funny to me that I'm now back in Vermont, doing sort of a new version of going door to door, talking about what a website is, why it's important for businesses. In the process, I nearly electrocuted myself trying to install a generator on the top of that building. I think it is still up there. I almost set myself on fire trying to rewire a fuse box, even though I'm not an electrician. And I scared at least a couple potential employees who came in and saw a room full of servers and 20-somethings typing away, along with a series of beds and laundry, and sort of ran out of the place thinking, what kind of company is this? But it was a startup. That's what kind of company it was. And I know that it's not easy to run a small business. It's difficult to have the weight of payroll on your head. It's difficult to have to deal with taxes that you don't always understand. And it's difficult not knowing if tomorrow is going to bring in any revenue or not. So I have a lot of respect for the people who are here showing up to get their businesses online. And I personally feel like Vermonters should have every advantage in what is a very competitive marketplace. We eventually outgrew that space. I built a large facility in South Burlington, and we ended up hosting websites from every U.S. state and over 100 countries, and got to play, sort of honored to have played a role in the growth of a lot of Vermont businesses, from Ben & Jerry's to the Lake Champlain Transportation Company, to Vermont Country Store, and many beds and breakfasts and other local organizations. And we did it all here in Vermont with a very scrappy Vermont workforce, and I'm really proud of that. And all credit to the folks that I worked with. I don't think I'm good at a lot of things, but hiring is one of the things I think I'm okay at, and managed to find a lot of great people. In fact, Scott Davis on my team today from Google was one of my co-workers at my startup, Early.com. The internet gives Vermont businesses a scale and a power and a tool to compete globally. 10 or 15 years ago, if you owned a B&B and you wanted to attract a clientele from California, what would you do? You would maybe take out an ad in the Yellow Pages. It just wasn't realistic. So we know at Google that 97% of consumers who are looking for local goods or services today start online. If you're looking to get a haircut or a place to eat, you usually start online. But only 37% of American small businesses have a website. And so we're here to try and help change that. And I know firsthand the entrepreneurial soul that lives in Vermont and have a lot of respect for it. And when I say that, I'm very serious about it because I lived it. we're thrilled that hundreds of businesses are coming out today and over the next 2 days here and in Rutland on Saturday, where we basically sold out the slots available. And we're sort of unified around a common understanding that building a business means building it online, at least in part. And we're excited that so many partners in Vermont have shown up to help us with that. My job at Google Ventures brings me into contact with a lot of very innovative entrepreneurs from all over the world. But I still own a home here in Burlington. I don't tell the state of California I'm still a voter here. And I intend to keep it that way. I have a Vermont license with a California address in my wallet. And I know how critical an online presence can be to the growth of a business. And that was true in 1997. It's even more true today. So I've been asked a bunch of times, well, why is Google doing this? Well, I wish there was some scientific reason why Google does the things it does. Why do we build self-driving cars? Why are we trying to digitize all of the books in the world? Well, the answer is Google is run by people. And people have personal priorities. Matt loves Vermont, I love Vermont. And Larry and Sergey and I and virtually all the 28,000 people at Google love small businesses and entrepreneurs. So when you think of Google, you may think of a giant corporation, but frankly, it was started after I started my company in a garage by two people who were just graduate students at Stanford that had no more clue what they were doing than I did. Or many people were starting a business, and it's about jumping in with both feet, which is what they did. So that DNA runs deep at Google, and that's why we're doing it. And I think that speaks volumes about the kind of company it is. And when I started my business, I intended to do two things: control my own time and never work for someone else again. And I woke up at 7 this morning to talk to VPR. I'm clearly not in control of my own time. But and for those of you that heard that interview, I was huddled under a blanket, sort of doing it by phone, but I was happy to do it. And I don't work for myself, but I do in a sense, because Google is an extremely entrepreneurial company. The reason this event has come together in the way it's organized is because of the people here from Google who organized it and took it upon themselves to say we need to get more small businesses online. The logic for it ends there. It's good for the company, it's good for the company, it's good for the country, it's good for businesses. So I know that many of the folks here are busy running businesses, and sometimes setting up a website might seem complex or expensive, and so we kind of want to demystify that a little bit, because they asked me this morning, well, why don't more businesses have websites? And I think part of the reason, at least, is if it seems complicated, it's always something you can put off to another day, because you've got to run your business. So we're here to hopefully make that process a little bit easier, and certainly, like most Google products, a little bit less expensive, because like most Google products, it is free. So it should take less than 60 minutes to get these businesses that come today up and running. And I just want to thank you for taking a little bit of time to hear a little bit about my story, which I was forced into sharing with you. I generally don't like to talk too much about myself, so I appreciate it. But all of the businesses here getting online and the ones that aren't online have a story to tell, and they're all worth hearing. And I can look around and I see a number of business owners that I know that have very interesting and compelling tales to tell. So with that, I'd like to welcome Governor Shumlin, who, among many things, has been an advocate for broadband access for all of Vermont, which is extremely important. Without access, none of this is actually possible. And so I want to turn the mic over to Governor Shumlin to express his enthusiasm for what we're doing here today. And so with that, thank you very much. Governor.